This podcast includes explicit language and sensitive topics that some may find offensive.
All views expressed belong to the individual speaking and not a representation of any entity that we have been, am now, or will be affiliated with. It's your chance to back out now.
That being said, if not,
enjoy the show.
Previously on the Black Man Misunderstood.
The infancy? The infancy joint. Because I think about it like this is like, yeah, we have extroverts, introverts, and the one in between, ambiverts. Let me make sure I'm saying ambiverts.
Black man, misunderstood.
It's your boy Mike B.
In the neighborhood therapist.
Welcome back to the Black Man Misunderstood. Here we discuss topics about the black man that others are afraid to speak on. I'm your host, Mike B, and this is episode 14 of season 4. Things we don't talk about. The relocation. Joining me as always, my brother.
Justice Payne Tyson, the neighborhood therapist.
Yes, sir. What's good, Brody?
Good, man. I think this is going to be a fun episode. I mean, not to say the other episodes ain't fun, but this will be a little bit more juice to it. Ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I think this is a great episode to continue in our new series, Things We Don't Talk About.
Mm-hmm. On a lighter note this time, though.
Yeah, this is a lighter note, guys. This is definitely a lighter note. But it's a little bit more insight on moving. Because I don't think we talk about this enough.
As a community,
yeah. Like we hear people, oh, you moved, you left, you moved to the suburbs, you're not real. We talked about it on different manners and different seasons and different episodes, but I think this is a new look at it to actually talk about it.
Right.
So, yeah, man.
All right. Without further ado, man, take us through the relocation to Tampa.
Whoo, the relocation to Tampa. As all the listeners know, I did get married during last season while we were getting it going, and my wife always said she didn't want to have a wedding in New York or Jersey, where we were from. She wanted to do a destination wedding. So with that, we were looking at different places, and then she settled on, all right, let's do it in Florida because it's probably easiest for all our family to get there who are in the States. And then for any family that's coming from Jamaica or Puerto Rico, it's a shorter flight instead of a longer flight coming all the way up to New York, New Jersey. And then also, even though I had family coming from England, even though they're coming from England over, it's warmer climate, less chances of having a rain, winter storm, or anything like that be a hindrance, even though we had a hurricane literally a week and a half before our wedding, which is crazy, but we made it through and everything was fine. But yeah, that's how we chose Florida. But at the same time, while we were coming down and looking for locations and whatnot, my in-laws were looking for a house because they always wanted to move to Florida in the long run because my mother-in-law has a lot of family down here. My father-in-law, he has family down here also. But, warmer climates, most people move to Florida. It makes sense. Or Texas, one of the warmer climates. Don't matter. And
Texas
so,
full,
huh?
Texas is full, y'all. Forget what Mike B talking about. Florida.
Yeah, I know. We said that a couple of episodes ago. But my wife always did tell me prior to us being married that she didn't want to move to Florida because she still wanted to be around her family, which I was perfectly fine. It was a warm climate. She had to convince me first because, there's other stigmas about Florida that we haven't gone into. Me being a black man, it's definitely one of the reasons why I had to think about that also, and we'll probably go into that a little later. But when I came and visit, I looked at the place. Tampa was up and coming at the time. When we first came down, they were still in the midst of business building. because they're in midst of like a 20-year plan of
Mm-hmm.
building up the city. And I came and visit within, I think, that first 10 years. They weren't done. When we finally moved, that first 10-year part of the process was actually done. So to see what Tampa was and what it is now, it's like crazy. But the relocation part. So now her parents end up finding a home that they want to purchase and whatnot, where we're living at now. And so the next thing they're like, they didn't plan on moving down anytime soon, retiring or anything like that. So they basically asked Steph, because they always knew Steph wanted to do it and knew me and Steph were getting married. Would you guys like to live in the house until we're ready? And yeah, I could do everything, planning the wedding down there. You'll be closer and that nature. And I'm like, and to me, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But me, I was still worried about moving to Florida because there's a whole bunch of other factors that you have to deal
Mm-hmm.
with. I had a job, it was remote. We're coming out the pandemic, so I had to see if I was able to find something down here or able to keep my job. And then the other thing was Steph finding a job, and Steph was going to her job. And she was a community director, so she was hands on. So those were a lot of factors that we had to stumble through and see if we could. And luckily, my job allowed me to move. I was able to keep my job, still have that job as of right now, and we're able to find another job through a mutual friend for her to start once we moved down here. So that process was easy, easier than expected, finding jobs. The next part then was how the heck we gonna get all this stuff down here. That part, taking the process. So I'm looking. Me and Steph are both looking at moving companies. We're getting quotes. We're talking to folks, and I'm also looking at the rental truck just to see how much. Like, yo, most people don't understand how expensive moving from one state to another state is. And when I tell you, moving companies were quoting at least $5,000-6,000 to move, and at this point, it was just an apartment and maybe a storage unit,
Mm-hmm.
1 bedroom apartment and a storage unit,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have the big appliances, no fridge, no washer dryer, none of that stuff. It was mostly a bedroom set, some TVs, and all of our clothes and stuff. We didn't have the big items. We sold the couch, we sold the dining room table. Like a lot of the
You ain't
stuff,
have much.
we didn't have much,
He's paying
and
for
it was
mileage and
still
gas.
$5,000 to $6,000 for movers.
Well, hold on. This was during the pandemic, though, correct?
This is also during the pandemic,
That
the
you got
tail end
yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah. That's important.
I'm like, yo, what? By the grace of God, I found a truck through AAA to rent because I already had enough. I had my brothers. I had Wayne. No, Wayne was there. Her family. We all came and packed up everything and loaded up the truck. But trucks were expensive.
Hmm.
So let me explain to you how sometimes God works in mysterious ways. I rented a truck thinking that it would be enough. I got probably, I think the original I got was probably a 10 footer. It's either 10 or 12. I can't remember. It's 10 or 12. When I went to go pick up the truck, no, I ain't went to go pick up the truck yet. The truck still cost me like $2,000 to rent. That didn't even include the gas that we had to pay for. That's just the truck by itself. Now, they called me. The truck size that I wanted, they didn't have. They had a truck size bigger, and weren't going to charge me more because that truck size would have cost another probably $1,000 for us to get. By the grace of God, they gave us that truck because if we had the original truck, we'd had to leave some of the stuff. Everything fit in the bigger truck for that one apartment. I was like, yo, this is crazy how much stuff we had. And it was one apartment.
Yeah.
And the storage unit. And I'm trying to tell you, we emptied out the storage unit. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like, what? But, of course, then we took the trip. About 18 hours drive down. We didn't do it all at once. We split it up in 2 days. It was me, my mother-in-law, my wife, and one of her uncles drove down. And we did it in a day and a half. Got down here, unloaded the truck. When I'm telling you, I emptied that truck so quick, bro. Bruh.
You try to get it back?
Bruh, I was getting it back because I'm like, y'all ain't charging me extra for nothing. I already paid $2,000 for this thing. And I had to come up with that $2,000, bruh. Chill.
Yo.
Bruh. That was my process, man. That process, bruh. It was a little headache, and then it was cool. It was cool. Getting all that stuff down here, but like, yeah, that relocation process, man. I told Steph, I'm like, yeah, I like it down here. I ain't trying to move back up north. Yeah, if we gonna move, we gonna move to another area, but it ain't gonna be outside the state, in my opinion, as of right now. So
respect.
So yeah, man. What about you, sir? How was the relocation to Houston? Because your process is a little bit different than mine because you had a whole thing prior to that because you came from Jersey down to your school first, not even Texas. Talk to us.
I had to leave everything. The relocation process of me by myself, that was a culture shock. I had to leave everything. I left I really think I left almost everything in Jersey to move to Texas. I left with me and my grandmother. So I had to wheel her around. But that's always a core memory that I keep. And that was one of my motivators to keep going so I wouldn't give up. That was crazy. I mean, I'm just going into that. I'm good on that. I'm not even about to do all that because that is traumatic. For real. People don't talk about the trauma involved with relocation. That was traumatic, bro. But yeah, I did it. Lighter. The relocation to Houston, dog. Listen, when I say you got to take a chance on yourself, this is what I mean. All right? This is what I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about my wife first. At this time, when I decided we should move, because she's going to always blame that I did this. No, for real. You ask her, she's going to always blame me, right? I need a pen and picture for y'all. This is at the start of the pandemic. The absolute very beginning of the pandemic. We did this. I sat down and talked to her about this in February of 2020. And the pandemic officially started in March of 2020, correct?
Correct. And for the listeners, if y'all been rocking with us since the beginning, I know that the podcast actually started a couple of months after that.
Right. So in the midst of starting the podcast, I was also preparing to move. All of that happened in the same time. Okay, that's wild. People, they're not thinking about that. Okay.
Yo, you know the funny thing is now I'm thinking about it. I also moved out on my own with Steph at that same point, that same year. That's crazy.
Exactly. Because you started out where you was at, and then the next season you were somewhere else.
Yep.
Same thing. So Daph was the highest level nurse where she was working at the time. Okay. This is important. I'm not just bragging. Like, seriously, listen to what I'm telling y'all. Mm-hmm. My wife was the highest level ranking nurse that she could be where she was at. Okay. And she only did that in the span of 2 years, which they said up until that time, it had never been done. So she was the first person to ever do that. So they valued her. They thought she was high enough to get to that point with the least amount of experience to do that because she was just so cold at her job. Shout out to her. On the flip side, her husband, I'm the first black person to ever be in that role. So I hold a lot of power in these 2 counties that I'm a part of because it was 2 county conjoint.
Connected. Yeah. Okay.
So you have my wife doing this. You have her husband doing this, which means that they are power people where they're at.
Yep.
Still, they made a decision to move somewhere where they were not known. They would have to start over. They would have nothing. There was no family up there, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This is why she fought me. So what I told her, I was like, listen, I'm big on listening to my spirit, and when I don't listen to my spirit, bad things happen. My spirit is telling me let's make that move. Okay. I had just started all this week counseling. I only had like 3 clients. I had just started auto therapy. I had like 2 clients for auto therapy. We was driving around the town. They was loving it. Money was good. Money was good, Mike. We had we had no reason to
To
really
move.
move.
Mm-hmm.
If we wanted to be comfortable, we was comfortable, bro. We had it. We was not in the debt. We destroyed it. That remember that plan I had asked her for, hey,
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice with me. We was living in it. We killed our goal. I said 10 years, we hit it in 9. It was done. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
Between me and you, I could have retired at 29. Remember, the goal was 33. I could have retired
Mm-hmm.
at 29 because we killed it. We over exceeded the goal. And one of my bros had hit me. He told me, he was like, yo, you know that you technically already retired, right? You did it already, bro. He said, if you want to walk away from your job, you have enough money that you can retire and you can chill. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I ain't even think about that. All right. But what happened was I'm big on elevating and doing more and things like that. I was just like, yo, this can't be it. This can't be where it stops. This can't be where
Mm-hmm.
I'll raise my kids and stuff like that. So I said, yo, Houston, Dallas. We started looking at different places. We was like, okay, let's do Houston. In the midst of the pandemic, there wasn't a lot of people going into doing rooming, showing the houses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So our real estate agent, which I just found out that she was pregnant at the time, which is crazy. She was pregnant at the time doing this. She was going into the homes and she was videoing the homes for us because Houston and where we were living at is 5 hours from each other. Right. So we was on the south. We was on the south of Texas. Houston is on the southeast of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. So it's 5 hour gap. We couldn't get in the car and do 5 hours every other week. And that would have been
Weekend.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Been crazy. So she's doing all the video recording. She's finding houses for us. And she found one house for us that we thought we was really, really gonna get. We put a bid in, we got overbid on that. Broke that heart. She wanted to give up after that. She was like, yo, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this no more.
I remember that. I remember all of this.
This is why I'm bringing it up. I'm not trying to bore y'all. I promise you. This is a part of the process, right? She wanted to give up. She's like, this is stupid. This is dumb. How we get out? And bro, we only got outbid by like $3,000, which was disrespectful. Disrespectful. So no BS. um, so we finally found a house, right? And we looked at it. We put a bid in, but they had went with a different bid. So we was like, all right, whatever, right? What end up happening is we get a call like what 2 weeks later. At this point, me and Daph chilling. We not even like really. We kind of slowed down on looking. We just doing our own thing at this point. So then the real estate agent calls us and she's like, "Hey, y'all remember that house y'all put that bid in on? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want y'all to come out and look at it." We was like, "For what? We already got our bid." Yeah, that fell through. This is why I said people got to renegotiate and stuff like that. That fell through. When she said that, I said, "Oh yeah, Birdman hands." Because now I'm like, all right, you reaching out to us. That means you liked our deal, right? And the first person backed out. I'm about to use that against you. Because now I'm already pissed off because we didn't get the house the first time. So if I don't get the house the second time, I don't care. But this time we coming in on my terms. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So we came out, we looked at the property. The owner was here. Now, this is where me and Mike differ, right? I'm not an animal lover, but I love sugar gliders, apes. What's up?
I ain't an animal lover. I happen to have a dog
You
because my wife is an animal lover.
by default, that make you an animal lover.
I'm not an animal lover. First of all, we all know. Wait, I'm gonna dip this in the bud. I have a fear of dogs. I still do. It may not be as yes, yeah, exactly. I have a fear of dogs. I still do. It may not be as big as it was when I was younger or prior to having my dog, but it's still there. I can't be around certain dogs.
Mm.
I will act differently. Mike, tight Mike. Straight type Mike, yeah, Mike. If it's a big old dog, and I,
Oh, I've actually noticed that. Oh, wow. See, you learn something new about your people every day, bro. All right. Well, maybe,
so I
maybe
am not an animal lover.
he's
I
not an
have a
animal
dog.
lover. He has a dog. I like that. I'm not an animal
I'm
lover. I
not
just have a
anyone.
dog.
I have a dog. That I actually do like my dog because my dog ain't like these other dogs because it's my dog.
Okay, respect it, respect it. So I take that back. I take that back. Mike is not an animal lover, but he has a dog. Justice don't deal with dogs. I don't deal with cats. I'm not. I'm just. It's not my thing, bro. Like it's just not my thing. I got homies that they absolutely love. You know, shout out to bro JP. JP grew up with dogs. You feel
Yo,
me? Like
what? Them little things, man.
yeah, they
Listen.
was. You know, but I'm just that's just not me. The owner, she had two big dogs. I mean, they just was running amok. As soon as I walked through the house, I could smell them.
What kind
What's
of
up?
dogs we talking though?
Like I think it was like Labradors or something like that. They would go.
They're at least,
It
oh
was a big
yeah,
dog, bro. Like
yeah, them labs. They at least 80, 90 pounds, most of them.
yeah, things were huge. So when I first walked in the house, right, that's what I could smell. I smelled dogs because I'm not used to smelling dogs. So some people they'll stop smelling the smell of dog because they're used to the smell. But it's kind of like a cigarette smoker and somebody that don't smoke cigarettes. The cigarette smoker won't smell it no more.
Yeah, but I'll also tell you, not all dogs are equal because I can walk into other people's homes who have dogs, and if you don't keep your house clean, because that also matters. You can smell your dog. 'Cause like our dog, she'll get smelly, smell up her area, but the house ain't gonna smell like her because we clean the house.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
So,
I'm not gonna disrespect the owner. The house seemed pretty clean, but I don't know. I just know that
well, with labs, their hair can
that's what
goes
I'm
in and
saying.
goes all over the place. So that's all.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on the breed of the dog too.
So she got two big ass labs. The house smells like dog. The carpet smells like dog. So that's the first thing I'm noticing. I'm like, yo, if we buy this home, I gotta destroy carpet. I'm already thinking of things I gotta do to this house, right? So I try to go in with an open mind. I close my eyes or reopen my eyes so I can come in with new eyes. I pay attention to the bones of the property. The house is 1970 something built. Um, I'm just like, yo, this gonna require work, but this is what I want. I want something that I can work on so I can negotiate the price because I'm handy with my hands. I'm good. This is what I do. So I was like, how do I get this property, right? And mind you, let me also tell you something. My real estate agent, we showed up way before we were supposed to show up, and my real estate agent kind of like went in and like bogarted the property because there was a couple in there before us. And our real estate agent walked in there. She's like, "Yeah, she's showing the property to some other people, but we don't care. We're here." I'm like, "Yo, this my kind of agent." You feel me? So we in there, we looking around. The owner not talking to us because she dealing with the other couple. Other couple walks out. Okay, hi. We let you do what you're doing. Then they leave, right? So she walks over. She introduced herself to us. She tells us like, "Hey, I'm just ready to get." People have this thing with me specifically. As much as I don't like human beings, I know I'm a therapist. I know people be laughing at me. I'll be dead serious. I don't like human beings. As much as I don't like human beings, for some reason, a lot of humans will just start talking to me and they just open up. They just, the floodgates open and they just go in. Bro, the owner was like, yeah, my husband just passed away. I want out of this house. I just want to give it to people that are going to appreciate it as much as I appreciate it. I mean, the whole life story. So you know me, I'm listening to all of that. I'm just like, nah, yeah, I bet, yeah, for sure, that's us. Boom. I walked to the backyard. I said, what is this, bro? Quarter acre of land, pool, hot tub. I walk behind the thing. It got an in ground generator that powers the whole house. I was like, what is this? I walk to the side. I look at the AC unit. The AC unit is brand new. You know how much those cost, Mike?
Oh, I know. I know. We spoke about those issues in the homeowner episode. Come on now.
So I'm that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for things like that. So then I look at the plumbing, the plumbing that I could visibly see in the garage because it's our garage is detached. not
Mm-hmm.
attached, detached.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I look up and I'm like, all right, it's old plumbing. We're gonna have to. It's galvanized piping. Usually homes, newer homes, PVC or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, we might have to replace that. Okay, cool. So I just go upstairs, I do the things, and I'm just like, yo, this might be it. But those two labs, this is why I brought up the labs. Those two labs are still running around. And they walking up to me, sniffing me, and bro, I do not do dogs. I don't do cat. I just don't want to deal with that. They sniffing, they getting all excited. So I'm like, all right, Justice, think. How do you seal this deal? Because I'm looking at wifey. Wifey got big eyes. She in love with the property. I'm like, all right, how you seal this property? One of the labs jumps in the pool. There's a ball in the pool. They jump out the pool and they walk up to me. So I look at this lab looking at me. I'm looking at the lab looking at me. And I go, okay. So I look around and the owner is looking at me. And I go, oh, okay. I know what to do. So I grabbed the ball out of the dog's mouth. Mind you, that is so disgusting to me. That's just me. I'm not a dog owner.
Oh no, no, no! It's disgusting to dog owners too. Trust me on that. Look, we have a fetch it stick that we don't gotta touch him sometimes. Just toss that
Yeah.
bad boy.
Yeah. So I reached my hand to this dog's mouth. I grab this ball and I sling it. Woof. The dog runs out there. I do that about like 4 times. And the owner's just sitting there smiling. So I'm like, I think I got her. I think I did it. I think I did everything I need to do to get this house. We walk away. We tell her thank you for her time, blah, blah, blah. We leave. Man, real estate agent calls us the next day. Yeah, she had a better offer, but she wants to go with y'all. She said she likes y'all. She said the house is suited for y'all. And I was like, wow, wow. That to me was the easy part. Even though I just said a bunch of hard stuff, that was the easy part. Bro, the relocation process was absolutely nuts. First of all, I went and got a U-Haul, a 20-inch, and or 20-footer. And finding that was like finding a needle in a haystack because again, y'all, this is the pandemic. Everybody was
Mm-hmm.
using the U-Hauls. What were they doing? What were they living in them or something? I forgot what they were doing with the.
It was a mixture of everything because people were moving from other areas because they wanted to get in the hotter climate. So all the U-Haul trucks that were in Florida and Texas, people were coming down, taking them to go to other states to come. Literally, because that was my issue too.
Crazy, dog. So I finally found one. It was a 20-footer. Mind y'all, I've never driven a U-Haul that big in my life. So this is gonna be my first time doing it. I don't know if y'all know that when you in a big old U-Haul like that, it has a rear view mirror, which I don't understand why it's there because it's blocked. You can't see what's behind you.
Yo, facts. 'Cause that was the same thing with the truck. That was the same thing with the truck, bro. Word, word.
I still don't understand why there's a rear view mirror in the U-Hauls and you can't use it. But the saving grace is that the U-Hauls on the sides, they have these big old oversized mirrors so you can kind of see what's going on there. So I rented that. I also rented a car tow thing. So I put at the time I had a Camry. I put my Camry on top of that. I miss my baby. Anyway, I put my Camry on top of that. That was my first time ever doing that. A tow in hand, doing that with the chains.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did was we loaded up the apartment that we was living in, and we
Mm-hmm.
rode out at about like 8 o'clock at night. So the reason why we did it, yeah. The reason why we did it late at night is because we knew we were going into Houston. For those of you that are uninitiated, Houston traffic is from, I would say, 2:30 in the afternoon to about 7 o'clock at night. 7:30 for real, for real. It's always traffic between that time on the
It
weekday.
sounds about right with Florida too.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
the Houston traffic was absolutely ridiculous. Even during the pandemic, it was absolutely ridiculous. So we said we was gonna leave at night. Man, again, it takes 5 hours to get to Houston from where we was at. We didn't get there until like 11:30, 12 in the morning. So imagine this U-Haul backing up. You know what I mean? Backing up into a driveway, stuff like that. So I hop out. Mind you, we haven't seen the property since before we secured it when we with the dog and everything. So I was the first person to walk in the house. I walk in the house on the first floor. where the bathroom is on the second floor. The bottom of that was destroyed. Yeah, the whole ceiling was gone. The whole ceiling was gone. So I looked up, the ceiling was gone, half of the wall was destroyed. None of this was like this when we moved and saw it. So I was like, yo, what the F is going on, bro? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, I got duped. So we called our real estate agent the same night. She answered. And she was like, yeah, what's going on? Da, da, da. And I was like, yo, well, not me, that wifey. Wifey blacked on her. You ain't know. Da, 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 da. And she's like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. They not done renovating it. It's like, what? So we walked into a home and it wasn't finished because they wanted to redo the tub in the master bath or the primary bath as they call it now.
So y'all were already moving and it wasn't done.
Right. Right. So what happened was we had to let them do their thing. They finished it. They finally finished the bath. It came out real good. But we finally started the move-in process, and then we realized that the house it was still smelling like dog. So we had to hire a carpet cleaner. It was a whole 9 yards. And then that is when we go into the internet issue because your sis, remember I told you this is going to make sense. She was in a super high ranking job before she left, but she was also in school.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So she was on her last run of school when we decided to move during the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting all this stress on us because I told her my spirit said we gotta go, we gotta move, right? So all of this stress is on us. We're moving and she don't have no internet. So how can she study and do things she need to do without the internet? So we using hotspots. So I'm calling people. I'm like, yo, we need to get internet. We finally get somebody to give us some internet, and we're here. We got the stuff to set up and everything. We can't get the internet, Mike. Why we can't get the internet, Mike?
The neighbor. If y'all ain't listen to Be a Homeowner, they said, go watch that now.
The neighbor is blocking everything. So the RV location to Houston was a bit rough. Let me say the least. It was a bit rough. But looking back now, I always ask him like, yo, you regret it? She like, nah, you turned out to be right. This was the better move because it's so much more here. It's so much elevation. There's so much more room to grow. Yeah, we could have been comfortable with that, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
big on, yo, God ain't put you here to be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Elevate. So that was the relocation process. And it's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm leaving out for the sake of time, but that was a move. It wasn't the nicest move. It wasn't the most elegant, but we did it during
Yeah,
the
no,
pandemic. So we need
I
that
know.
prop.
Yeah, it's funny. The relocation process that we both had was during the heart of the pandemic,
Oh
even if
yeah.
it's the tail end or it was 2020, y'all moved. 2020, I moved in an apartment. 2022, I was getting married and moving to Florida. It's legit. We were all like, yeah, we just doing this.
It's real. All right. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of the episode, man. Things to
Yes,
consider when
sir.
moving, bro. I would like to tell people your number one thing that you need to do before you move, before you decide to move, is figure out your why. Why are you moving? Make sure it's not you're moving for other people. Make sure it's something
Mm-hmm.
you want to do. You're moving for you and whatever's around you, your stabilization, your family unit, your foundation. That's my
Yep.
biggest thing. What about you?
That's definitely number one reason because a lot of people would look at me crazy because I said I was moving to Florida because my wife wanted to move to Florida at the time. But it was when I made my decision to say yes, it was what led up to it. And what led up to it, people don't realize, is that I happened to find our church home while I was up in Jersey. Our uncle sent it to me, and that's how I was like, you know what? I want to go see this church. Because at that point in time, I did not have a church home. I was still a young man after God's heart. I didn't have a place to help grow it, help feed my yearning, give me more understanding on where I need to go and where I need to be. So that was basically another way of God just saying, "Hey, Mike, there's good things down there for you. Just listen." And then talking to you, of course, talking to my sister, and realizing that. It doesn't matter. We could have moved anywhere. It didn't
Mhm.
matter. It didn't matter because of who I am and how I am. I was gonna be fine regardless. And once I realized that, I'm like, they're actually right. I don't want to leave the stuff here because I was comfortable. Even though I know end game, I did not want to live in an apartment. End game. So I'm like, this is basically the learning step that I need to do to learn what I need to do to get to where I want to be. So yeah, definitely remembering why is definitely a big thing. Another thing to consider: are you moving about to be married, or are you moving being single? The pros and cons. Most people don't think about that stuff. I honestly would say because I was getting married, it made it easier because it wasn't like I was going into, oh, I'm moving with a significant other. It's an unknown. Anything can happen. We can split. That was an issue. We were on that process of being married or already married at the time. Um, all that good stuff to make sure of that. I think that was definitely a pro because we were one accord. We were doing this together. We're not doing this by ourselves. Being single is different, in my opinion. Because if I were to make a move like this single, I think I would have looked at a lot of different other things first than just right away just moving and having a pinpoint idea of things. So yeah,
Yeah, which is why I think I'm gonna get a lot of slack for saying what I'm about to say. I think moving as a single person is easier than moving as a person in a relationship.
oh yeah, no,
You know,
I don't think slack for that. I think that's true.
yeah, I think you have less things to worry about, and it's just you. You can selfishly move for whatever reason you moving for. You got a significant other, you got to worry about is the bathroom y'all like, is the kitchen open space enough for you and all this other extra stuff. So if you're moving and you're moving by yourself, there's pros and cons to it, like there is for moving in a relationship. So you just got to figure out, you spoke about it. You said, moving as a unit, there was no fear for y'all as if y'all were breaking up and leaving. But that's not the reality for a lot of people. Some people have that fear, like, yo, we gonna move together. I know people that have moved with somebody and they had a bunch of families somewhere, and then they end up separating. Now this person live out here in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say
Yep.
Houston, they travel from Canada. Now they in Houston, ain't got no family out here, and they gotta figure it out. So that is important. You gotta really, really contemplate things like that before you make that move. So I would say if you're not married, this is just my personal opinion as a family and counseling therapist, a marriage therapist. Um, if you're gonna make that move and you're not married, you're in a relationship and you're gonna make that move with somebody, you still need to consider yourself. Consider the fact that if y'all are not together, how are you gonna make it? How are you
Yeah.
going to separate and have your own? I know some therapists are against that, right? But I'm a realist, and if it happens, you need to be ready. So,
I hear you. I hear you.
yeah.
What else you got, bro?
The cost of living, this is a given.
Yeah.
You're not gonna move somewhere where the cost is high unless you got a once in a lifetime job opportunity or something like that lined up. But most of the time, you need to be looking up the cost of living. If it's lower, what do you get for it? Better schools for your kids, things like that. That's a given. So I feel like we can skip that one, right?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I think the second one goes into it also the job/career. Because how
Yeah.
important is it to you? You know, do you want to be making all that money because you live in New York City or Silicon Valley? Or do you want to live in Florida where you may not have as many opportunities, but a little easier way of life? Just saying. My opinion. My opinion. Other things. Not everything's easy. Just that.
Okay. So yeah, job, career, cost of living. I think this is a big one that goes untalked about. Having family or no family at all. In Texas, I had my aunt and my grandmother, right? And then until I didn't. You see what I'm saying? So I'm away from them, I was dolo. And then once I moved away from that and went to Houston, I was super dolo. I'm still dolo out here. You feel me? Like I'm still dolo out here. Now, family is coming and going from Houston because we have somebody that that's my cousin that me and you went to school with that I just found out she's in Houston, and I was like, I ain't know that. That lets you know. But
Mm-hmm.
you gotta know who you are. Are you able to go to a city and not have anybody and make it your own, or are you
Yeah.
the type of people that you need people around you to make it? Figure that out.
Facts. Facts.
Mhm.
Facts. I ain't got nothing to add to that is except for having family, having none at all. You definitely gotta know who you are as a person, and I think that's another reason why I was able to move to Tampa. Even though the closest person to me is my father, and a lot of you
Mm,
know my strained relationship with my father, even though it's better now than what it ever has been. He's the only true family blood that I have down here that I know about anyway. And then I have my wife's family, which I also consider family, or none at all. But the thing is like me as a person, it don't matter if I have family here or not. I probably be able to make friends who come someone like family.
mm,
In most places, a lot of people will tell you that. Like I have friends from college, friends from high school, friends from grammar school. That yeah, they're my friends, but they're probably more like family at this point. So, yep, determining that. Now, this one I'll talk on having connections to having to build new ones or to having to build new ones. And this is what I was probably alluding to people. I am a people person. Just to tell you that from the rip. We'll walk into a room. I'll say hi to everyone. Just walk in the room. He'll say hi, but he ain't saying it to everyone. He'll
nah,
put that
you're gonna
hand
do
up
the overall generalized. What's
and,
good?
and call it a day. But I'm that person. I'll build connections like uh, in that nature down here. I even met one of my favorite dance choreographers of all time. I grew up watching down here, and he's now in my network, which is crazy to me. So it's stuff like that. I have the ability to make connections, and I made a lot more connections through my church too. So yeah. So having your connections that you already have, yeah, but you can build new ones. And then sometimes you don't even realize the pipeline of your connections, how vast and deep that they go. Because I met people down here through people that I knew up north, which is crazy.
Mm.
Yeah. And school. Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
to consider. So, are
Thing.
you going to network or are you not going to network? I think that also goes into finding your community. So, Mike said he found his community by finding his church home, things like that. Um, I'm gonna speak to the other side of this, man. I'll speak to the other side of this. I wasn't big on that whole community thing. I'm still a loner. I'm 100% still that. I'm cool with me and wifey just being me and wifey. But when I'm nah, real talk, I really am like that. But what I am starting to realize is when my other Gemini side kick in, when I do want to pop out and show people, when I do have those moments, my squad ain't around. So now what I got to do is I got to find other married people or other people in relationships to that are on the same brain pattern that they're not doing things that we not doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that is a big thing, finding that community. Because what I realize is that even though somebody like me who is a loner, humans still need humans. You
Oh
still
yeah.
need that interaction and stuff like that. So that is something to consider when you're moving. And thankfully, Houston is a huge city, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But
Just
we'll
like
see.
Tampa. Yep. I know.
Yeah.
I hear you. No, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Because I had a little tough time finding my community at first, and then
Right.
once I got to the church, it just started boom, 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 boom,
Right.
and then we got the dog, and that helped stuff get another set of community with
Right.
other dog parents. So no, that's definitely true. Definitely true. All right. So I think these are just burning hot questions that we're gonna apply through.
Okay.
I'll start with the first one. What do you believe is the most important factor in relocating?
Why you're doing it? We said it already. Yeah. What is your why, and then time, and then money, and all that stuff. But if you don't know your why of relocating, don't do it. You wasting time.
That's facts. That's facts. Even even if it's for safety for some of you guys, because I know some people relocate for safety because they need to get away from the environment that they're in, the person that they're with, or people that they're around. So definitely know your why for sure, for
Mm,
sure.
okay. When do you know it's time to relocate? Trick
This
question.
one for me is, I would say, it's a sign for God, a sign from God. The man upstairs will talk to you in ways, and like I've said this previously, he talks in many ways. He does not talk one way. He doesn't just talk to you, but hey, I need you to move. No, no. He'll show you signs and things that you need to move. Like show you the opportunities at your job. Like, oh, we're building an office in such and such place. That may be a sign for you, like, oh, maybe I should consider moving here. Another way, yo, man, I know you in Jersey and all, but I think you may need to venture out to go see the world differently. And this could just be from a simple conversation with one of your friends. And the thing is, it's been on your heart and mind for a minute, but you just didn't know how to act on it, and someone brought it to you. Boom, stuff like that. That's when you know it's time, brother.
I like that. I like that. Um, Mike is the king of giving it to you in the spiritual aspect, man. So I'm gonna talk to the other people. I'm gonna talk to the other people. I think this applies to everybody though, spiritual and not spiritual. Watch this. Ready? This is gonna be an aha moment for you too. Watch this. You ready? Let me do it to you real quick. Pause and all that. Um, when you think about the place and you get warm thinking about it, you smile about it, and then there's an immediate fear afterwards. That's when you know it's time to relocate.
Woo! That's real. That's real. That is real. Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
And for those of you really listening, all I said was the same thing Mike just said in a different way, because that's God. But minus that fear part, because that ain't got nothing to do with God. But
well, he's not a god of fear, but he's saying we shouldn't fear because he got us. But God knows fear is a natural part of the human
yeah,
experience. So
I think it's fair. I just think it's just the unknown. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
humans and the unknown that bothers them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But when you have that initial feeling of where you glowing and you thinking about it, you're like, oh yeah, I could do that. But then you naturally right after that, yeah, but what about this? Bro, that's where it's
Yeah.
time.
Yep. Yep.
It's time.
When is the best time to do it?
Man. Now see,
This varies.
and see, I don't think it do.
Okay.
I don't think it do.
Go ahead. You go first, and then
This
see if
this
you
is
change
where
my
I'm about to
mind.
get manhandled, dog. I'm with Mike. Once you get that spiritual calling, don't wait, do it. Execute. I just told y'all, me and my wife had supreme positions where we were at, and we left all of that to start over in a place we didn't know anybody. Just do it. Nike, bro. I think the best time is when you get that sign. Because at that point, it's like you going to get, regardless of what your religion is, regardless of what you believe in, if you know you and you know how you give it up, you know your essence of the core of what is make you you, you protect it. Go do it. Now, don't do it if it's you being cocky. If there's no spiritual foundation built off, nothing there protecting you. There's no logic behind it. There's nothing. You're just like, oh, I want to move to Nova Scotia. I'm gonna move to Nova Scotia. Like, what are you doing, bro? Nah, because I know too many people that move to Houston and they don't got no plan. What you come here for? Texas is full, y'all. I'm gonna keep telling y'all that Texas is full. But
So
seriously, like, if you ain't got
yeah.
no foundation,
So that's why I think you kind of answered it right when you get that bug from the man upstairs. However he talks to you. Yeah, that is the best time. I was looking at this question a little differently too. I was looking at it more so, is there ever a right time, right?
hmm.
Because I think people look at, oh, you need to move in your 20s instead of your
Oh,
30s, instead of your
oh,
40s, all that good stuff. Oh,
yeah,
or you move when you start to have kids because you want to move in a better
yeah,
environment.
yeah.
Yeah, it's more so what my brother said. because I think a lot of people would think that way first before they think how you just said, brother.
I think that that's so outdated though, and the way that the last past 10 years, bro, society has moved at a lightning pace, but we in a different space now, man. It's just a different time, so I don't know. I think that that's antiquated at this point, bro. Everything that me and you have been taught is low key antiquated. Have you ever sat back and really thought about that,
I thought about that with some stuff, not all, some stuff. And I hear you.
bro? Like 85%.
I'm not gonna say 85% because I'll tell you like this. This is what I and you guys will find this more out on my podcast also. Um, a lot of the stuff is like worldly made and not God ordained and
Of
designed.
course,
So people follow those trends thinking
right?
they're the right way. And I'm like, if you just go old school with some of this stuff, you won't have half these issues. But that's just me. That's just me.
But Mike, you proving my point. You talking as if you and everybody else think the same way. They don't.
I know.
You are now considered an anomaly. Even other Christians no longer think like Mike. You understand this, bro. You understand that the Christian community now has sub Christians in there. You feel me? Like it's certain things that's tolerated and certain things that you are listen, you don't gotta go out on the show. There's certain things you're not gonna tolerate as a Christian. Whereas other big name pastors are like, hey, you know, as long as they tied and they fine. You feel
Oi.
me?
Oh, all right. Next one, bro. Next one. We can go on a tangent with that
All right. Cities, suburbs, rural, where to?
one. Honestly, that's where. And honestly, this is my opinion for what you deem that you need to be at. Some people need to be in the city because they've been in a royal all their life. Some people need to be in the suburb because they've been in the city all their life. Then some people need to be in the suburb because they've been royal, but they don't want to. They don't want to leave that feel of the royal energy being spread out, but still want to be close enough to have some people. So it's all depending on what you deem necessary and what you want. So that's how you figure that out.
Okay. Let me try to shed a little light on this. City living is high pace, a lot of traffic, lots more to do. If you're into fun, this is fun. City is fun. You have more resources because it's more populated. Suburban is
Mm-hmm.
usually better schools, better funding, usually better roads. Sometimes better communities, give or take, and that's pretty much what you get with the suburbs. Rural, more space, less HOAs, less rules. There are still rules, but they're less. What's the word I'm looking for, bro?
Uh, Standards, probably.
Nah, like the police. Like they don't really with rural communities.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
They
what you're
kind of
saying.
let you live your life. Everybody pretty much knows everybody. These are the Johnsons, these are the Paynes, that type of thing. So I think
Mm-hmm.
you just have to decide between those factors. And also with rural communities, a lot of the times the grocery stores and things like that, they don't have those. So you got to drive a bit to go get to your groceries and things like that. So these are the things I would say you have to consider between the three, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the thing I want to bring up, you know, people just wanting to move, but then they get that fear, right? Is it fear or is it nerves?
Nervous.
Those are two
Mm-hmm.
different things.
Two different energies, baby.
Yeah, fear is going to sit there and destabilize you. You're gonna be there. You're gonna do whatever it is that you do when you respond to fear. Nerves is just a natural thing. It's just like, hey, butterflies. Like, hey, this is something different. It's uncomfortable, but I'm gonna do it. That type of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
figure out the two. If it's fear, go back, reassess your situation, go back to your source, pray on and meditate, whatever it is you got to do. But if you're nervous, that's a good thing. Nerves keep you alive.
Yep.
So that's how I feel about that. Thoughts?
No, you said everything that's needed.
Okay. All right. Any final words for people that maybe want to relocate, but they feel like they can't do that at the moment?
I would basically tell you, me being a Christian, I'd say pray on it. Pray on it, definitely. Go to the man upstairs because he will guide you. He'll never lead you or forsake you or take you down the wrong path that you need to go. And you pray on it, and then you look for his answer. But the thing is don't rush his answer. Let it come to you in time because he may talk to you in different ways. He talks to people while they're praying. Sometimes he talks to people through songs. Sometimes he talks to people through people. Or sometimes he may even use a commercial and be like, boom, oh, dang, God, I didn't even think you was going to talk to me. Thank you. So just look for the signs. Pray on it, man. That's all I say.
Okay. I say write out a plan A, B, and C. And with your plan A, B, and C, write a plan A1, A2, plan B1, B2, plan C1, C2. The reason why you do this is for those of you that are high anxious, it
Mm-hmm.
alleviates a lot of that because now you feel like you know what's coming either way, and then you'd be done with it. Do not go beyond plan C2. Anything after that is over anxious. That's too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that will solve a lot of your issues. And it's very logical. It's very logical.
Yep.
Of course, do what Mike did as well. Pray on it to have action, because prayer without action is no. So
Yep.
to have the action piece to it, do the ABC, plan for it logical, give it up to God, and you should be good. But don't hesitate. Don't be afraid of it. You can have nerves, but execute. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, man. That's all we got for you, folks. Hope you enjoyed, and with that, folks, we see y'all next week. Peace. What up, listeners? Mike B here. Hope you enjoyed the episode. You can find us on IG at BMM_podcast. On TikTok at BMM Podcast. Facebook, just type in the Black Man Misunderstood Podcast. And then you can find the Neighborhood Therapist at the Neighborhood Therapist on IG. And you can find myself at Mike B_BMM on IG. And if you want to connect with our producer, the DJ himself, Mr. DJ Daxter, check him out at DJ Daxter on IG. Alright, folks. See y'all next week.